Welcome to hell, motherfuckers. What's up, psychos? Hopefully everybody is doing well on this Saturday. This is another episode of Welcome to Hell. This is episode 19, and we're going back to the regular old demo stacks. And this is volume 7. So I got a good stack for you sickos today. Another 6 demos, and we're going to talk about them, and we're going to play some cool links. Got some live shows, a couple 2-treat things to play, and talk about a little bit of the history with the bands that I have, if there is any. Sometimes I write to them, sometimes I know them here locally, sometimes just stumble across them from tape trading or the record stores or whatever. So there's always a lot of sources back then, not as many as now, obviously, but lots of sources. So sit back, get your beer, get your blunts, your bongs, maybe just get a soda and some popcorn, some snackies, and get ready. And remember, the ancient demos are always the shit. So that's why you watch, you know. But that being said, let's fucking go. All right, we're starting off with the band of the shirt that I'm wearing. My guys in fucking the mighty Excruciating Terror. The genuine article, the real deal right here. Old school. When you think of Los Angeles death grindcore, that is the band that comes to mind. I know a lot of people say Terrorizer, Nausea, this and that, but Excruciating Terror were the cream of the crop, the best of the best that we had, as far as I'm concerned, as far as that style of like the grinding death. I mean, I've talked about Entity. You know, Entity's a different style. It's definitely death grind, you know, but it's much more Carcass influenced. Excruciating Terror kind of took the Napalm Death route, you know, Extreme Noise Terror, and just a classic band. So we are going to talk about the Visions of Terror demo. And this demo is grinding death classic. So E.T. was, we call him E.T. out here. E.T. was formed in 1991 in Northeast LA region of Los Angeles, also known as Nela. So there's East LA proper, and then there's Northeast LA, which has a few cities towards. So Northeast LA is towards Pasadena. If you are familiar with Southern California, Pasadena is a big city northeast of downtown LA. That's where the Rose Bowl's at. So there's obviously a bunch of famous stuff happened at the Rose Bowl, football games, concerts, events, all kinds of crazy shit. They have the Rose Parade there on January 1st. So a lot of people from all over the world descend upon Pasadena during that time of year over the holidays and whatnot. So and then they have the big Rose Bowl game, you know, the college football game and whatnot. So anyways, that's Pasadena. We're talking about Nela here. So yeah, Montecito Heights, Frogtown, Highland Park, various dudes in the band were from those areas of LA, basically kind of not too far from Dodger Stadium. That gives you an idea. So it's kind of around the stadium area off the 110 freeway, the ancient freeway where it has stop signs and like 2-mile-an-hour exits and whatnot. You know, otherwise you're going to fall into the LA River. But yeah, very familiar with that area. My dad had lived up in Highland Park, Montecito Heights area for a while when he was released from prison. So very familiar with that. And I ran into these guys. Just obviously they were a killer band and they were playing around a lot, and it blew my mind the first time I saw them. I was like, holy shit. They were also kind of unique because Victor, the singer, did the highs and the lows. So he's got the infamous voice with the, you know, low growling and the high screaming. So Victor, Martin, and Raul, my guys there, they started the band initially in 1990, and actually Dino Cazares from Fear Factory and Brujeria was in the band for a little bit, and then he left, and that's when my boy Jerry Flores entered the picture, and that's who I ended up meeting first in the group. I was in my grime band Malfunction, and you know, we were kind of gigging around or whatnot. Excruciating Terror had already been around a bit, and were getting known out there, playing bigger shows, and Malfunction was just kind of coming up. We were playing backyard parties and stuff, and we played a couple of official shows, but it was mostly backyards and total underground gigs. And Excruciating Terror did those too, but they were also playing some bigger shows and whatnot. So they had a bunch of bass players. So that 4 core here, I'm showing a classic picture that Extinction of God used in our magazine and our compilation booklet. So there's Martin on drums on the left, Jerry, and Victor with the baseball jersey, and then Raul with the classic mustache on the right. There's their old logo that's on this demo. And here's another classic logo that we used in the booklet too, the circle logo. And then here's a cool image that we used in the booklet too. The guys are jamming. Looks like they're in the infamous garage. That's where Jerry lived. That's his garage, and the band would practice in there, and there's all kinds of infamous shows there, hangouts and parties, and a lot of bands would play there too. If they were touring, passing through, they'd have an extra gig, or maybe the gig got canceled somewhere, so they'd move it to Jerry's garage. And I mean, I can't even list the number of gigs that happened back then. It was a lot of fun. Just a lot of, you know, some local shows too. Excruciating Terror, or his band later, Bloody Phoenix, would play, and then other friends' bands would play and whatnot. And then here's the cover of the classic demo, Visions of Terror. So there is 8 total songs. It's one intro song, and then 7 songs. And let me play a little bit of it. Check it out. Yeah, fucking brutal, man. Killer stuff. These guys, there was a lot of the scene was, some of the shows were kind of violent back in the days. You know, we got a lot of gangsters here in Los Angeles. So when you're doing shows in the hood sometimes and you're passing out flyers possibly in certain neighborhoods or whatever, some of the homies are going to show up. So there was some violence, and a lot of times when Excruciating Terror would play, you know, their music's so violent and pissed off, you know, all hell would break loose. So yeah, there was a lot of classic shows. These guys were always killer. So yeah, I got pretty tight with these guys. I kind of became an honorary member of the crew back in the day, hanging out a lot in the garage up there in Montecito Heights and over there in the avenues, and got tight with Jerry and the boys, and we'd hang out quite a bit. So I was always over at the pad. They'd come down to my pad, and so there was actually in 1994 when Gasp actually first initially started. I was also going to play bass at Excruciating Terror, and so I was driving up to Jerry's house. This was 94, and I was driving up to Jerry's house to go try out. To, you know, he basically was like, yeah, we'll try you out, see how it goes. And I was on my way to head up to ET practice and got in a car wreck. Pretty much totaled my car for a bit. I ended up getting it fixed a little bit, but it just didn't happen. So Jerry, you know, there wasn't cell phones back then. If there was, it was very rare, only pagers and shit like that. So I didn't have, I wasn't a doctor or a drug dealer, so I didn't have a cell phone. Those are the only people that had cell phones back then, are rich people, you know? So once I got back home after a couple hours, called him. Jerry's all, man, you didn't make it. Fuck that. You're out. And I was like, oh, dude, I told him what happened. He's like, oh, fuck. Oh, well. And I was like, dude, I can't. My car's fucked right now, so I can't drive up to LA for practice. I was living in like Hacienda Heights, La Puente at the time. So it's, you know, not super far, but it was far enough. So I couldn't make it up to Jerry's house. Anyways, so yeah, that didn't work out. And then I tried out again for ET in like 1999. They were going to do some shows. They had kind of fallen by the wayside as a band, and then they decided to do some stuff again, maybe do another recording and play some shows up north. And I tried out at that point. That whole thing just didn't work out either. So, you know, just being buddies with the guys and, you know, being into the same music and having the same influences, it would have been a good fit, I think, but it didn't work out. But yeah, I love the band and love these fuckers. So like I said, there's 8 songs on here. The intro, the Heavy Duty Conquest for Eternity, which is just kind of like a slow prodding heavy banger. And then there's like 6 grind bashers. It's, as you heard, it sounds like Extreme Noise Terror on PCP or something, you know. So there's Paranoid, Human Error, Persian Deception, Innocent Slaughter, False Confession, and Prophecy of Doom. Now, these sickos went on to do the classic Legacy of Hate 7-inch. They did a couple of classic grindcore albums on Pessimizer, and I think they had the split with the Gothicles and a couple other things. But they And I know that they got back together in 2013. Jerry wasn't a part of that. He was still doing Bloody Phoenix at the time. He decided not to join that. I think Victor, Martin, and Raul did the reunion, and it was awesome. For a short time they were back together. I don't know if they're even active anymore. I saw a video, like they played Maryland Death Fest a few years ago, and it was just Victor Martin and a guitar player. So, that was 2016, 17, something like that. So it's been a while. So yeah, I don't know what's up with them. I talk to Jerry all the time, but he's not involved in anything excruciating terror anymore. And the Victor and the other guys, I lost contact with them. So just on social media a little bit. So I don't know what the status is, but they're definitely a classic Los Angeles band. And Visions of Terror is one of my all-time favorite demos. Really, really cool stuff. At one point, too, Gasp and Excruciating Terror, we were in talks to do a European tour together. We were just going to do it, get the flights arranged, and we do the gigs, do-it-yourself gigs, basically. There was a lot of resources at that point, especially with I know Jerry was in contact with a lot of people. Eventually he got Bloody Phoenix over there, and they're doing massive European tours, like 2 months over there, and playing a bunch of festivals and stuff. So yeah, he had a lot of good connections back in the day. And me and Mitch were in contact with a lot of people in Europe, obviously through tape trading and stuff. So it would have been cool, but that didn't happen either. And then Gasp ended up breaking up around not too soon after that, unfortunately. So it never happened. But yeah, there was just a lot of classic moments with these dudes, and proud to call them friends. And they're one of my all-time favorite bands for sure. And this demo, again, all-time classic, Visions of Terror. You heard it. Classic shit. Go look it up. All right. Next up, Unleashed. The Utter Dark. Fuck yeah. Heavy as all fuck. Evil. One of the most evil and darkest death metal demos ever recorded. Classic shit. There's the classic logo everybody knows and loves so well. One of the best logos. There's the boys. This is the original lineup. That's the mighty Robin in the middle with the Afflicted Convulsion shirt. He's the original singer. I like Johnny and everything, and don't get me wrong, fucking Johnny rules too. But this was the with Robert on vocals, aka Robin. He, obviously went on to Dismember. He was in Dismember off and on, and then they got back up and running. So, but he does vocals on this, man. Fucking heavy duty. I know in the Swedish death metal book, Daniel Ekeroth was like, yeah, Robin's one of the best death metal singers of all time, but he only did a few demo recordings. His body of work is super short, but totally classic. So they formed in 1989 in Stockholm. So obviously they're one of the heavyweight Stockholm bands. And the story. Johnny was in Nihilist, and him and Nikkei and the guys were kind of butting heads on directions and influences. Johnny wanted to do different stuff, and the other dudes in Nihilist basically wanted to kick him out, but instead of kicking him out, they disbanded Nihilist, freaked us all out in the underground, and we got all fucking bummed out. And then they reformed, they formed Entombed without Johnny. So when Johnny found out, he was like, what the fuck, man? So I don't know. He didn't seem to give a shit, because then he started Unleashed with my buddy Anders Schultz. That's who I wrote to get this demo. So Anders, awesome. He's the drummer. And that's him here on the left with the cigarette. And killer dude, one of my favorite pen pals, and I've been able to, hang out with him in person. Met him for the first time when Unleashed first came here on their first tour. I believe that was with opening for Cannibal Corpse. So I know they came here a couple, 2-3 times originally. They came with Cannibal, and they came with Entombed and Morbid Angel. And they might have come another time with just Entombed, but I forget. But yeah, they were here 2 or 3 times. And then my band Self Inflicted in 2005 or 6 got to open for Unleashed in Santa Ana at the old Galaxy Theater. So got to hang out with Anders there. Again, touch base with him. It'd been a long time. And now I just luckily just chat with him on social media when he's not busy touring the world. Next time Unleashed comes through, though, I think I'll just go hang out. It's always good to see Anders. But yeah, wrote to Unleashed because, you know, I seen this logo around and fanzines and flyers and stuff. I was like, holy shit. First of all, you know, look at this logo. It's fucking badass. I remember when my buddy and I were working on the Extinction of God fanzine one day, and there's an Unleashed poster up in his room. I think it was like the Where No Life Dwells promo. It might have been a demo poster or something. But his dad comes in, and what are you guys doing? Oh, this and that. And he looks over at the Unleashed logo, and he's like, what the fuck is that? And then we're all like, Unleashed. He's all, Unleashed from where? Unleashed from fucking hell? So, yep. It's Unleashed from fucking hell. Here is the classic demo cover that I'm holding in my hand right now. And this demo was May of 1990. And, oh, that's like I said. So I saw this logo around, and it's from Sweden. I knew it was a done deal. I had to get it. So that's when I wrote to Anders. Because in the ad, there was like addresses for Anders and Johnny, from what I remember. And I just wrote to Anders, and 3 songs on here: The Dark One, Ancient Dead, and Violent Ecstasy. And this is the only Unleashed recording that has Robin on vocals. And yeah, so I was pen paling with Anders quite a bit, and I actually got an old Utter Dark shirt from him. It just had the logo, and it had the Utter Dark, same text there underneath it, white on black. It's long gone, unfortunately. But and I think I got another a white Revenge shirt, you know, the next demo and 7-inch they did with the Reaper in the Forest or whatever, black on white. I got a white Unleashed shirt with that too. Got that from him because they were selling that. So yeah, this demo is just so suffocatingly evil and dark. Just the vibe. It's just crushing. Just totally just dominates the sound. And, you know, like I said, they've done some great things after this, but this recording, there's something about it that's just really pulverizing, you know. Just the aura with everything is just so fucking badass. It's definitely one of my all-time favorite demos. Massive influence on what Ruin does, as you can tell. And always trying to you know, I've been in the studio with Gary and Christian, you know, the engineers that have worked on the Ruin stuff, and John too, John Haddad at Trench. And this demo is one of the benchmarks, you know, one of the examples that I use. And, you know, I'll send a YouTube link of this demo to the guys and say, yeah, let's try to get something similar to this if we can, you know, as far as everything about it, the guitars, the drums, the bass, it's just so fucked up in a good way, you know, so fucking evil. And, after this, you know, they had the second demo, like I said, the Revenge, and that got put out on a 7-inch as well. Then they ended up starting to work with Century Media and Where No Life Dwells and Shadows in the Deep. I forget it. I think that's the second album. I enjoyed that stuff and some of the other stuff too. And they Hammer Battalion and stuff like that. And yeah, there was some albums I just didn't get into. Across the Open Seas to be okay. Some of the stuff was, you know, not my cup of blood, so to speak. But yeah, this early stuff, it's hard to beat. They're still at it. Still one of the Swedish all-time heavyweights, still going. Let's play. This is actually a cool live set that I found, and it's got Robin on vocals. And this is Ancient Dead. He gives a little introduction. Check it out. fucking heavy duty, man. Ancient Dead. That's off of this classic, The Utter Dark. Unleashed from fucking hell. That's right. So one of my all-time favorites. Go check it out. I'm sure a lot of you crazy fuckers love it too. So, all right, on to the next one. And this is Cathedral. And this is In Memoriam. Heavy fucking duty. Heavy duty. Here's the classic logo. Yeah, when this came out, it was a game changer in a lot of ways. It was just so crushing, you know. And the concept and story behind the band, too. There's the guys, classic old school Cathedral band photo. So it's interesting because, you know, Lee Dorian was already a legendary figure in the underground. You know, it was a napalm death. So we were already aware of who he was, and he was fucking brutal. You know, but then obviously him and Bill left Napalm after the Mentally Murdered classic, you know, EP. And there's a lot of uncertainty about that. You know, when people leave bands, we don't know what's going on or whatever, you know. The internet wasn't around back then, so they weren't there to announce, oh, we're going to do other stuff. You know, we figured Bill, you know, he had Carcass, so he was going to focus on that. That was pretty obvious. But as far as Lee, we didn't know what was going on. Is he going to start up a new band? He's going to do this. Well, he started a record label, Rise Above Records, and, you know, they specialize in doom stuff, and he put out a lot of the early Cathedral stuff. But, you know, prior to Earache, I know he was doing a couple things, the compilation, and, you know, he put out a compilation with a couple of the Cathedral was on there and a couple of the bands that he had started working with. But, you know, we had no idea that he was going to start this total doom bordering death, you know, doom metal, you know, but it definitely had a death metal influence on this early stuff. So we had no idea he was going to do a doom band, you know. And it was actually going back to 89, so right after he left Napalm, he must have had the plans in place already. So, yeah, a couple of us wrote to Lee Dorian, and nice guy, you know, typical, really cool, laid-back English gentleman type, you know, so cool guy. A few of us were writing to him when he was in Napalm. We'd write to Lee and Mick, and the Napalm guys are always some of the nicest guys around, you know. Now they got Barney, and Shane's always really, really mellow. But everybody loves Barney, real mellow, down-to-earth guy. But Lee was super cool. I wasn't super tight with him. You know, I wrote to him one or two times or whatever. But yeah, got the Cathedral demo and had to check it out. This demo has 4 songs. Morning of a New Day, the classic. They got a pentagram cover, All Your Sins. Ebony Tears, and then March, which is a really heavy prodding outro type thing. So they did this doom really well, you know. I mean, it really sounds like a funeral. It sounds very molasses going through a machine, like he took some NyQuil, some cough medicine with codeine. Oh, you know, it's fucking perfect for definitely what you know, Lee and the guys were setting out to do. This demo started it. You know, they weren't fucking around, and it's heavy as shit too. And found some footage actually. So this, I'm trying to remember what year this was. 1990, live in Leeds, Duchess of York. Check this footage out real quick, and I'll be back. You know what I mean? It's fucking codeine right there. It's perfect. Fucking Lee, man. He you know, he's an intense frontman. One of the most legendary frontmen. You know, you watch those old Napalm videos. First time Napalm came here, they had Barney, and Barney's fucking awesome. It was the Harmony Corruption period, so I didn't get a chance to see Lee live with Napalm. You know, they had not come overseas yet. Only with Barney and Jesse, and then we got Mitch, who joined a little bit later. Or it might have been the other way around. I forget. Jesse and Mitch, you know, because I remember they started playing as a 4-piece initially when Lee and Bill left, and Nick and Shane got Barney, and then they got either Jesse or Mitch first. I forget now. But then eventually they had 2 guitar players, Mitch and Jesse. So that was all cool. But anyways, yeah, Lee's great frontman stuff carried over to Cathedral. He was really good. I saw Cathedral live on the Gods of Grind tour with Carcass, Napalm, and forget who the other band, Brutal Truth. So Cathedral was on that tour. So it was a big 4-band Earache Records tour, and played the Hollywood Palladium. And Cathedral was fucking awesome. They played second. Fucking awesome. You know, Forest of Equilibrium, fucking one of my all-time favorite doom metal albums. And they were just incredible. Fucking Lee was killer up there. But you know, hope you dig the some of the live stuff. I'm playing live stuff with bands like that and Unleashed, who are pretty popular and signed to big labels. So I'm trying to skate by the copyright. Live stuff is open, you know, it's fair game. Basically, it's fair use is the term. So most live stuff, as long as it's not put out by the label as a video, if you take footage from that, that's different. Like an officially released filmed live video that a label puts out, that's off limits, just like some of the albums are. But yeah, the live footage that's on YouTube and whatnot, it's fair use. So that's why some of these bigger bands that are on big labels or whatnot, I don't want to get in trouble with. So I'll play the live stuff. But I know, you know, I enjoy the live stuff. I know you do too. So it's really killer. Now they did, you know, obviously Forest of Equilibrium, I talked about. That's a fucking classic album. The Soul Sacrifice EP after that was fucking awesome. Soul Sacrifice my soul for you. Ooh. Yeah, really cool. But I like that. That Ethereal Mirror album had some jams on it. Midnight Mountain was fucking goofy. The video was hilarious. But, you know, they started getting a little different after that, as a lot of those bands did from the classic era. And I just lost track of them after that. Gravehill played Maryland Death Fest with Cathedral in 2011. Cathedral headlined the Thursday day, and we just got in town in time to see Buzz Oven, a little bit of them, and then Cathedral played last. We saw some Cathedral, and our buddy Scott from Repulsion was on bass, which he had been in and out of Cathedral over the years. That was fun. So yeah, no, Cathedral was cool up there. You know, they were playing, I don't remember, they played Soul Sacrifice. I don't think they played a whole hell of a lot off of this demo, from what I remember. This is the heavy duty shit. But yeah, no, definitely one of my favorite demos, and very influential on stuff that I've done for sure. Great riffs. Lee's voice fucking rules. He's got a unique style. Yeah, he always had a unique style. It wasn't typical. If you listen closely, you know, a lot of the growls and screams and whatnot from Napalm were a little bit different. And no one's actually been able to 100% copy. And then the Cathedral stuff, especially this early stuff, it was just this weird bellowing that he had that was just badass. But yeah, this demo's fucking heavy as fuck. So again, go check out the links. I'm sure you'll hunt it down. All right, we're gonna jump a few years up to 1995. Now, I wasn't as active in tape trading at this time, but still doing it, still writing to a few people, especially with Gasp. Mitch and I were, and Cynthia a little bit later, Mitch and I started off very, very busy in 1995. So we would jam out quite a bit and started writing what would become the Sword for Days demo and some other earlier tracks or whatnot. But in the meantime, Mitch and I were just rabid collectors still, you know, Being busy with the band or whatnot, you know, I didn't have time to pen pal as much, but there was still periodically bands that were popping up, bands that slipped through my fingers that I discovered a little bit later, you know, stuff like Dead Infection. And, you know, because initially when Dead Infection first came out, I had not heard of them. So a few years later, I was like, holy shit, Chapter of Accidents. Wow. And then I had to go backwards and hunt down the demos and whatnot. But another band that, well, this band actually came out in 95. DAHMER. This was badass. This is the demo 96. So hopefully the glare is not hitting there. See a little bit. Demo number 1, 1996. Here is their logo. So DAHMER was formed in Quebec, Canada, 1995. Obviously, this demo here is 1996. As I said, there's 23 songs, and they're mostly about serial killers and mass murderers. So they had that down. Obviously, this band is a huge influence on Ruin in a lot of ways, not just musically, but stylistically, no doubt. Big influence for sure. So yeah, like I said, this is a mid-90s find. And here's a cool picture of the guys. I don't know if that's a show. That's a badass banner, just homemade and all fucked up. Just jamming out. I don't know if that's their practice space. That's a show. It might be a show. They got the banner up, but it might be their jam space. Kind of looks interesting. Like some old abandoned, fucked up living room or something. But that's a fucking badass picture. Here's the demo here, the cover. Tons of songs, but you know, it's grindcore. Grind death. And I was going to, because I kind of have a mid-90s, late 90s set of stack shows that I want to do. But conceptually, I think the DAHMER demo fits more with this old school, especially with Excruciating Terror on the list. Fits more with this type of thing, traditional death metal-ish, you know, old school demo, you know, late 80s, early 90s tape trading era. You know, even though DAHMER came after a little bit, a few years later, I think stylistically they fit in this era. So that's why I have them on today's list. But, you know, since it fit this concept, I wanted to include them on here. So, you know, they went on to do the legendary DAHMER 7-inch. And then the DAHMERized album, they did as most grind bands do, and now, and even back in the day, especially, obviously, tons of splits, EPs and splits, and then all that stuff ends up coming on in discographies and whatnot. And let's see, I got a video link. Here's a little bit of the demo, gives you an idea for those of you living under a rock that haven't heard DAHMER. Here you go. Fucking brutal. So that reminds me too, the the link there that I played you, that's the original cover. It was blue. And this is a Tape Trader bootleg that Mitch made me back when it came out. So he got the demo. He wrote to the guys in Dahmer, wrote to Quebec, and he played me this demo. I was like, holy shit, this fucking rules. So I told him, make me a copy. So he did. We all had dual. I mean, I had so many fucking tape players in my room back in the day. My buddy Bart from EOG, he had even more than I did, than anybody else, because he was doing all kinds of tapes for everybody, and the compilations and tape trading and selling them at shows, slanging them. So yeah, we all had a bunch. Mitch had a couple 2-tree tape players in his room too, and so did I. So yeah, we were constantly recording stuff for each other. And that's cool when you got a couple of tape traders and underground freaks in a band together. And then I'm showing him shit, he's showing me shit. And Dahmer was one of the demos that I got to check out. So yeah, fucking killer. Good stuff. So obviously Dahmer has legendary cult status with the underground, and definitely a killer demo. It's kind of funny too, because they got that little bit of a pingy snare, which I can't fucking stand. There's a lot of bands, grindcore bands now, that do that. I just can't stand it. Hey, if you like it, whatever. That's you, whatever. But yeah, I can't stand that pingy snare. And Dahmer has a little bit of that, but it's tolerable, you know. Let him get away with it because everything else is so fucking awesome and brutal. So, but yeah, I love this fucking demo when I first heard it. So I wanted to throw it in on this list. And the mid 90s, late 90s stacks, that'll be a different episode, but I guess this could be part of that, but I wanted to put it on here. So Dahmer, Demo 96, number 1. Fucking classic. All right, the next awesome and classic demo, an awesome band, Slaughterlord. Yeah. Taste of Blood. Fucking some cult shit right here, for sure. One of the most beloved cult bands. Definitely. And they were formed as Onslaught in 1985. A long time ago. Shortly after that, they changed the name to Slaughterlord. So they're down in Australia. That's where they're from. They had 2 demos in 1986. And this Taste of Blood demo is 1987. 3 songs: Die by Power, Taste of Blood, the title track, and Legion. So they're just a fucking classic band. I always thought that they were ahead of their time. Just so fucking fast and ripping and badass. Just definitely, Sadistic Execution, Slaughterlord. These are the classic Australian barbaric death thrash bands. There was always some sort of just insanity with these bands. They're fucking crazy down there, What's in the beer, mate? Fucking badass. Drives them crazy, so they make some amazing music. There's the classic logo. Very simple, bloody, old school, fucking hand-drawn on a peachy folder in high school and shit. I don't know if they had peachy folders in Australia. Maybe they did. This is an image of the boys in the cemetery. This has made its rounds online. I think a lot of the promo shots for the band or whatever use this image. I found another really cool image, though, of them. That's fucking badass. Like an old church in the background. I don't know if it's burned out or just fucking ancient. What the fuck's going on back there? Dude on the right's got a baseball bat or a sword or something. But yeah, they're just fucking ready for war. Ready to fucking death thrash it up. Here's the classic cover. Steve Hughes, the drummer. Apparently he's a stand-up comedian. I think he ended up moving to Ireland and then ended up in UK and England. But yeah, he's a stand-up comic now, apparently. Apparently he's pretty funny. I haven't seen his stuff. But yeah, this goes back to 87. I just kind of started getting into the underground. But this is a tape trader, bootleg that I got back in the day, back in the late 80s, early 90s. And I don't even remember who I got it from, to be honest with you. But it's definitely has always been one of my favorites. Invictus Productions did the Thrash Till Death compilation. It has, they only did 3 demos, and it's got all 3 demos on there. So you might have seen this CD around for sure. I think they put the vinyl out too. I've seen the vinyl here and there, but this CD was everywhere for a while. A lot of distros are carrying them and all over the place. Pretty much every distro imaginable had this CD because it was so sought after, because they fucking rule, So here's a little bit of Die by Power from the demo. Check it out. Yeah, fucking brutal. Die by power. Die by fucking power. Classic shit. Slaughter Lord, very influential too. Underground cult heroes influenced tons of shit. I know that the Morbid Angel guys definitely said that they worshipped the Slaughter Lord demo, and a lot of people did. They came before, a little bit before, probably around the same time Necrovore. I don't know if those Necrovore guys were into the Slaughter Lord demo or not, but I got to check out that episode with my buddy Carl. He interviewed Necrovore on his channel on the Witching Hour, so fucking classic. But anyways, Slaughter Lord, fucking totally influential, and tons of death thrash bands ended up carrying the torch after Slaughter Lord. And like I said, these are just straight up cult underground heroes here. Fucking anybody that's into underground shit absolutely loves this demo. One of my all-time favorites in the collection, so I had to include it on this Stacks episode. So go check out those links. Get that comp. Thrash Till Death. It's got all the demos on there. The other demos are badass too, but this Taste of Blood is my favorite. It's just, like I said, 1987, they're fucking playing that fast. It's just fucking crazy, man. It's kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. Without these bands like this, without Slaughter Lord, I'm not even fucking here right now talking to you guys. So great shit. All right. Last, but certainly not least, Swarming of the Maggots by XYSMA. Old beat up XYSMA demo. Very near and dear to me here. Classic stuff, and my introduction to the Finnish scene. And I wrote to Vesa, the bass player. His address was in a fanzine somewhere, and I think I talked about Funebre a couple episodes back. That was like the second Finnish band, because I ended up getting a Funebre flyer and Vesa's package and then it went from there. Abhorrence was in there as well, but yeah, XYSMA was the first band that I discovered from Finland. Heard about some stuff going on up there, so had to go check it out. Just like the Swedish explosion, there was a Finnish explosion, and dare I say that possibly XYSMA was the first Carcass clone, quote unquote. I don't know. I mean, they were definitely influenced by Carcass. Definitely, I wouldn't call them a clone, but I guess, you know, XYSMA, General Surgery, there was a lot of stuff. A little bit later on, Dead Infection, you know, definitely influenced by Carcass. Everybody was, though. Carcass was fucking awesome, you know, so there's a lot of bands out there. There's kind of a Carcassy logo. That's an old XYSMA logo. Classic. Here's a really cool bootleg shirt that I saw recently. It's got the old logo. There's the demo cover and the swarming of the maggots. It's interesting, too. They even used the same font that's on the demo, so that's really cool. Whoever did that has attention to detail. So they just took the font and same font with the logo on there. And then here's another cool logo that I ran into. That's pretty cool too. I remember seeing that around. Yeah, they had a few logos. Obviously, they changed their logo later on. Here's a band photo of the boys. Of course, he's got a Carcass shirt. Dude there in the middle. I don't know which one's Vesa. They all kind of look like brothers. They're all related. Janitor was the singer. I remember that. I don't know which one's Janitor either. Maybe the dude in the glasses. I don't know. Maybe it's the guy in the Carcass shirt. But anyways. Yeah, classic. They were formerly Repulse. And they formed in Turku, Finland in 1988. The Swarming of the Maggots demo is 1989. Like I said, they're my introduction to Finland. And, you know, Funebre, Disgrace, Abhorrence followed shortly after that, just discovering stuff since I wrote to Vesa. Like I said, he included flyers and whatnot. But, you know, you saw bands and fanzines and tape compilations. They were on there and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was really cool. They did XYSMA did a couple of classic 7-inches after this. They kind of changed their sound a bit with the Yeah album, which was fun. I like the album. I still listen to it. But I'm always kind of just, you know, when I put some of the other stuff on, I just kind of gravitate back to the Swarming of the Maggots demo. But those 7-inches are great too. The Morbidity and the Fata Morgana. Fucking Seraphic Decay. I ordered that one too. Didn't get it. Fucking Steve, you fucking cocksucker, you. So yeah, they like I said, the Yeah album is cool. It was fun. We ended up at the Extinction of God compound. We ended up with a video of the Yeah era of XYSMA, and Janitor had a tambourine up there. And it was kind of funny. He was dressed kind of like a hippie and just in there with the tambourine, like they were the Doors or something. But the Swarming of the Maggots demo, this demo is just fucking so badass. You know, if you like reek of putrefaction era Carcass, this is definitely up your bloody alley. Now, this is a video that I found. Very cool. It is, see if I can get the year here, 1990, live at Aron Paimo in Turku, in their hometown in Finland. So check this out real quick. I'll be right back. Yeah. Fucking brutal. Gives you an idea of the old sound. Most of you are probably familiar with the classic XYSMA sound. But yeah, this demo, one of my all-time cherished favorites. Very, very massively influential on Ruin and what I do now. And definitely had to include it on this demo stacks list. Vesa was a super cool guy. And like I said, he helped get me into a lot of stuff from Finland, since he was, included those flyers. And yeah, I believe thanks to him, I found out about Funebrae. A lot of this stuff was making the rounds, like I said, in fanzines and tape compilations that were associated with the fanzines or just on their own, like that tape compilation episode I did a couple episodes ago. But yeah, it was just really cool opening up a package from Finland, and this fucking beast is in there, and you put this on and fucking enjoy it while it's playing. You read the letter, cut the stamps, off, send back my stamps. So you cut the stamps off, make sure you send it back next time you write to him, and then go through the flyers and everything else that he sends over. So, I never got a XYSMA shirt. I should have got one back in the day, but I might have to look up that bootleg. I just found the image online, but I'm going to hunt this down, see if I can get a shirt of this for myself. That'd be fucking awesome. Well, that wraps up this episode of Welcome to Hell, episode 19. This is the Demo Stacks, volume 7. And, like to chop it up with you sickos for about an hour and chop it up with myself, record it for you sickos, I should specify. At some point, I'll do some live stuff, have some people on, some guests. Actually, next month, I'm going to start doing more interviews. So everything's opening up in October for that on the interview front. So that'll be cool. I got some friends, old friends, new friends that I'm going to be chatting with. And a couple of them are just scheduling wise. It's just kind of a pain in the ass. But November too, I got some interviews scheduled for November. So yeah, there's going to be a slew of interviews that are going to be popping up on the channel here coming up soon. So I'll see if I can do 2 in a weekend, but who knows. Anyways, hope you enjoyed this Welcome to Hell episode 19, Demo Stacks volume 7. So until episode 20, you crazy motherfuckers, have a good one and have a better one tomorrow. And I will talk more shit to you soon. Bye-bye.